What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Solvice. I'm Stephen Webb and today I'm going to be reviewing the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 in the triple black or black static colorway. This all black version of the 350 V2 was released this past Friday on June 7th, and the day before that we saw the release of the reflective version. Adidas released it through their app using the reservation system. Reservations were available in Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. So congratulations to you if you were in one of those cities and you were able to cop a pair. I tried from LA, but I was unsuccessful. That little system of picking the correct picture, I guess I was too slow doing that. I feel like I picked it in less than a second, but as soon as I clicked the picture, it said that all sizes were sold out. But I am happy that I was able to get the regular, non-reflective version of the shoe, and for me, thankfully, release day wasn't too stressful. I've had really good luck with the launch locator system in the Foot Locker app, so I was able to pick up my pair in my size at a local Foot Locker. Now for the people who were trying to pick these up who didn't have their own pair, just waiting for them on release day, it was definitely a little bit more hectic. This is the most hype that we've seen on a V2 release in a long time, and I think that's due to the fact that this is the first dark colorway that we've seen of a V2 in a very, very long time. Not only that, but it seems like pairs were a little bit more limited. Not that they were rare or anything like that, but it's not the same mass-produced quantities that we've seen of V2s in the past, like the creams where it was rumored that they had over 1 million pairs released. So I think those two things kind of contributed to the increased levels of hype that we saw with this release. And from everything that I've seen, these are completely sold out everywhere, and they sold out day one. There were no pairs sitting online. I don't think there's any pairs really sitting in the stores. Maybe some middle of nowhere Foot Locker you can find a pair, but other than that, I'm pretty sure these are completely gone. Now for me personally, hype is not something that I factor in when I'm deciding whether or not I like a shoe, but I will say that increased hype on a sneaker that I love is something that I like to see. Obviously, if a shoe has more hype, that means it's probably gonna get made more often. So when we've got increased hype on this triple black colorway, I'm really hoping that Adidas and Kanye decide to give us some more darker colorways on the 350. Obviously, I wear a ton of black, so dark colorways just kind of happen to fit with my style and personal aesthetic. So hopefully we'll get some more dark colorways of the 350 moving forward. All right, now with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review. Starting off with the box, we have the exact same brown cardboard box that we get with every other 350 V2 release. You've got your 350 lettering up on the top, and then it says Boost here on the side. Now taking a look at the label on the box, it reads Yeezy Boost 350 V2. These are a size 12, of course. This is a personal pair. And then we've got a triple black colorway with a model number of F09006. So make sure if you're picking these up anywhere other than an authorized retailer, so if you're going through StockX or GOAT or Facebook Marketplace, anywhere like that, make sure your model number is correct. There are going to be a ton of fake pairs anytime a 350 V2 is released. We already know we see the market just flooded with fakes, and these days they are getting very good, so every little thing that you can use to match up against a real pair is very important. All right, now starting with the shoe itself, we're going to go ahead and check out the upper first. Now the upper on these, just like every other 350 V2, is made out of prime knit completely. However, they did add this translucent stripe here on the side. That started with the static colorway that we saw a few months ago, and they've continued it on since then. And I will say, since the stripe on this is black, it's a very dark color, you don't quite see through it quite as much as you did on some of the lighter colorways, but it is there. And the other thing that was started with that static colorway was this new prime knit pattern, which instead of those swoopy wavy lines that you had like on the zebras or on the belugas or anything like that, it's more of a geometric pattern. You really only have one curved line, which is on the inside of the shoe here, but everywhere else you're looking at pretty much squares and rectangles. Now to me, the most interesting part of the upper on these is going to be the laces. Even though this is the non-reflective pair, you do have reflective thread that runs through the laces, and I think this is super dope. It's really hard to explain. I'm going to try to get it on camera as best as I can, but I don't really know if this is going to translate so well. If you hit it with light directly, they're really just going to glow. The whole lace looks like it's glowing. But if you have just a little bit of light that's bouncing off that reflective thread, it almost looks like the threads are floating above the black thread. Again, that might sound weird, but if you see them in person, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people are referring to these as the Pirate Black 2.0, and that's not just because we have a triple black colorway on a Yeezy 350, but it's also got the pull tab in the back with that red dotted line that runs all the way through, which I think is a really cool reference to that Pirate Black colorway. So moving on to the interior of the shoe, it's pretty much business as usual when it comes to 350 V2s. You've got this padded ankle area with the reflective 3 stripes in the back. You've also got the standard 350 V2 insole with the Adidas Yeezy branding. Now, one thing that I did find to be a little bit different on these on the interior is going to be that cage at the toe area. If you've ever worn a 350 V2, you know that there's that cage that's on the underside of the prime knit that helps to kind of keep the shape of the shoe. If it wasn't there, it would kind of just collapse, so I understand why they do it. But on previous 350s that I've worn, it's kind of stiff and it kind of takes away from that feeling of the prime knit. But on these, it's a lot more flexible, which is a good thing since I wasn't able to get my 12.5 on these. It kind of helps with these being a little bit snug. Now, checking out the midsole on these, we do have a very semi-translucent black midsole. You can barely just see through to that full-length Boost unit. And then on the outsole, we have a similar situation there as well. It's very slightly translucent, so again, you can see through to the Boost underneath. And of course, you have your Boost branding on the heel, as well as your Adidas original branding up at the toe area. So as far as sizing goes on these, just like with every other 350 V2, it's a little bit snug, so I would recommend going up a half size if you can. But if you're like me and you have big feet, it can be difficult to get those half sizes. So if you go true to size, there's actually a couple of things that contribute to these not feeling quite as snug. The first thing I noticed with the clay colorway is that the toe box is actually a different size than the older 350s. So they're not quite as narrow. You have a little bit more room for your toes. And then the second thing I kind of already mentioned, which is the cage on the underside of the prime knit. It's a lot more flexible. It flexes with the prime knit, so they don't feel quite as constrictive. And then as I mentioned earlier, these do have a full-length Boost unit in the midsole, so they're super comfortable. That mixed with the prime knit upper makes sure that this shoe is going to be comfortable for you all day. Nice and breathable, pretty lightweight. So yeah, super comfy. Now this is the part of the video where it might get a little controversial. Maybe you want to call it a conspiracy theory. I don't know. It's just something that's been kind of going through my head since we saw the release of the static colorway. So we've heard rumors of a 350 V3 coming. Everybody's waiting on it. We've seen leaked images with a new prime knit pattern and that loop up on the tongue. But I'm kind of starting to think that we've already seen the V3 and we've got it right here in our hands. Now, before you call me crazy, hear me out. So the first thing I want to talk about is the transition between the original 350 to the 350 V2. If you think about what changed on the two shoes, it really wasn't a whole lot. Same basic idea, you've got a prime knit upper with that center stitching, and then of course you have full-length Boost that's encapsulated in that ribbed rubber that goes all the way around. The two biggest changes that we saw was the updated prime knit pattern, and then they updated the midsole to look a little bit more modern. Now fast forward to the static colorway that we saw come out a few months ago. Not only did we get a brand new prime knit pattern that's very different than the original, but we also got this new translucent stripe that runs all the way through the side where we used to have the Supply 350 lettering. And they've kept these changes since that static colorway. We haven't seen another 350 come out with that original prime knit pattern or with the Supply 350 lettering. So that's the first thing that kind of put that idea into my head. Now the second thing is going to be colorways. Now if you look at the colorways that have come out since they've changed the prime knit pattern and added this translucent stripe, not only do we have this triple black colorway that's very similar to the pirate black on the V1, but then if you look at the Trueform or Terraform V2 that came out, it's very similar to the Beluga colorway. And to me, it's just kind of strange that you get 3 of the same colorway on the V2. So my theory on what happened was this was supposed to be the V3, but since hype was dying down and people weren't as excited about the 350 and they didn't want to bring out a 350 V3 and nobody really care about it, they decided to bring some life back to the V2. So they came out with some colorways that they knew everybody would love, especially a triple black, and they also made it a little bit more limited so it wasn't as easy to get. We didn't have pairs sitting. They had the appearance of everything selling out. So they increased the hype so that when they do finally launch a V3, people are excited about it and they're back to business as usual. But I really want to have a conversation with you guys about that theory. So if you agree, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and then down in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments as well, and give me some reasons why you think I'm wrong. Let me know some things you might think I left out. But either way, I want to hear from you guys. Now, thanks to you guys, I'm making really good progress toward my goal of hitting 300 subscribers by the end of August. I'm already about halfway there, but I'm not there yet. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. Also click the notification bell. That way you're notified when I post new videos. Now, if you like this video, I'm going to go ahead and link to another video over here that I think you're going to be into. So go ahead and check that out. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.